Hi, everybody. This is Michael Levitis from juristu.com, a legal network where we bring you attorneys from different fields to answer your frequently asked questions on the law. And today we have with us back Matthew Sullivan, an attorney that does construction accidents, meaning Matthew represents clients that get hurt at work sites, at construction accidents to get the maximum recovery for their injury and for other items as well. So I want to ask you today, Matthew, besides getting compensation for your injuries, right? What happens with all the medical bills? What happens with your wages? Because when people get hurt at a work site, unfortunately, they can't go back to work. They may have loss of income. They're worried while their case is going on, and it could take some time to get you a recovery. Meanwhile, how do you feed your family, and how do you pay for those expensive medical bills?
Any lawsuit against a construction site owner, general contractor, or subcontractor is going to take time. There's just no sugarcoating it. And the reason it will take time is because these construction site accidents often have significant monetary exposure, meaning we'll be looking for a lot of money at the end of the case. While the case is going on, however, we understand that workers have families to feed. Workers have medical appointments that they have to go to in order to recover from those injuries. That's why at Gregory, Spektor and Associates, we connect those injured workers with workers' compensation attorneys who will be able to get those workers' compensation benefits activated and in place. Those benefits include paying for your time out of work, paying for your medical treatment, and not just the appointment, not just the time you're going to spend with the doctor, but it can also include transportation to and from the doctor's office, ancillary costs like that. Workers' compensation benefits step in. And by the way, these workers' comp benefits, they're provided by your employer. There's a law that requires the employer to provide that type of benefit. So you, the injured worker, don't come out of pocket for your lost wages, medical treatment, and the associated costs. That's
great. So I just want to double check. So for the duration of the case, the worker could still get those lost wages?
Absolutely.
Meaning, there's no time limit?
There's no time limit so long as the Workers' Compensation Board, the administrative body that oversees the workers' compensation program, determines that you're out of work because of your injuries. As long as they make that determination, then you're entitled to receive those benefits, which would include lost wages and medical treatment from the workers' compensation insurance carrier.
You know, this is a very interesting issue, and I would like to have a separate session with you just on that, on this board that you mentioned. What are the requirements to get those wages? What is the process? What do you have to go through? And we're going to come back to you with those questions. For now, I want to ask you a follow-up question. Based on your experience, Matthew, you do a lot of these cases, construction accidents, and that's actually all you do. What have you seen? How long does it take on average either to settle a case or to take it to trial? And if you could get into, if you go to trial, what does it require? What steps? Why would it take the amount of time that it takes?
Absolutely. That's a fantastic question, and a question we regularly get when someone walks through our door. They want to understand what the path forward is for their case. And the truth is, each path is different. Each case is different. There are some cases where, thankfully, the worker is not traumatically and severely injured, and they're able to return to work. And so it makes sense to settle that case relatively early for significant money, but likely not millions of dollars. There are other cases where, unfortunately, the worker will never be able to return to work, and the damages are in the millions and millions of dollars. I handle those cases. When we deal with a case like that, you're looking at multiple years of litigation in order to establish the proof, in order to get all of your witnesses lined up. And when you are looking for multi-millions of dollars, you better believe that construction site owner, general contractor, or construction manager is going to hire lawyers to fight tooth and nail to make sure they have to pay as little as possible. So That's why it's difficult to give necessarily a one-size-fits-all answer.
Mhm.
But if you're in a serious construction site accident case, the litigation could take several years.
Mhm.
Once you're at trial, it is critical to have all of the evidence that you've distilled and gathered during those years ready to go.
Mhm.
Typically, when we present our case to a jury and we're looking for millions of dollars, we present expert witnesses who will be able to quantify our client's economic loss. Let me give you an example.
Sure.
We represent union plumbers, union laborers.
Mhm.
And if they've been out of work for a handful of years, we can pretty easily calculate how much money they were earning before the accident, what they would have earned during those years, and we have a past lost wages component that will reflect the amount of time they've been out of work. But it's a little more difficult to calculate how much they would have earned for the rest of their lives.
Mhm.
And not only what they earned, what those benefits would have amounted to. Oftentimes, union laborers get pensions, they get health insurance, they get tuition benefits for their family. All of those benefits have to be calculated and quantified, and we hire expert economists to do that. So when we go up in front of a jury, when we present your case, we have a clear rationale and a clear template for why we're asking for millions of dollars, why the jury needs to award us millions of dollars, and ultimately why that defendant is going to be writing a check for millions of dollars.
And Matthew, as we discussed previously, I just want to reiterate for our listeners and viewers, those experts, like you said, they're very expensive. Your firm would cover the cost of those experts until the case gets decided. Am I
That's
right?
absolutely correct. Our firm fronts all of the litigation costs, every motion that's filed, every subpoena that's served, anything related to the cost of the case, we front. We do not get paid, and we do not get those costs reimbursed unless and until we win your case.